Good morning and welcome. It's so wonderful to see you all here today. We're very thrilled to see faces, at least eyeballs, and welcome to everyone online. We're very happy to have you joining us this morning to share in the Dharma. So, we begin, as we always do, with chanting the three homages, taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, followed by our Shoshinge chant and incense offering. And as we do this, it's more of a walking meditation as you offer incense, so mind your distance between fellow Sangha members and just, keep that in mind. And it's just, we go row by row, so just allow some space and some time to honor Amida Buddha, the Buddha of infinite compassion and wisdom, or a wonderful teacher in your life, or the infinite compassion and wisdom of the universe, whatever you want to send gratitude towards. That is the spirit behind the incense offering, is to offer in gratitude. And as we chant the Shoshinge, that was written over 800 years ago by our founder, Shinran Shonin, the monk at the top with the tassels. And he wrote this wonderful, pleasantly long poem to remind ourselves that we are more than just living in the past, the present, and future. We are responsible for extending this beautiful chain of life onward. So being mindful of what your actions are in this lifetime and doing your very best to have compassion for others and yourself, and just learning as much as you can about being present and mindful and loving in this world. So we will offer incense as we chant. Also, you might know that maybe you have seen others offer incense at these other two altars. So we have the Medicine Buddha altar here, and the Medicine Buddha heals all ailments, whether they are mental, physical, emotional. You could send it out to the world right now. Whatever you feel needs the most healing, could be for yourself too. That altar is there for you to offer incense to heal any illnesses. And then on this side of the Hondo is Kannon Bodhisattva, and that altar is offering or asking for compassion. She is the Bodhisattva of compassion. And so if you need to send out more compassion into the world, or to somebody in particular, or maybe somebody you know has passed away, that is the altar to do that. So when you finish offering incense at our main altar, you can offer at these other two altars as well. So the Shoshinge chant you'll find in the seat back in front of you, and it's this book right here, and it opens a little, just open it from the front page, but it's backwards because it's from Japan. And we chant from the right hand column vertically down to the left. So we're chanting down because that's how you read in Japanese. Very traditional. So, and if you get a little lost, which if you're new, you might get a little lost, that's okay. Don't worry. Take some practice. Just sit and absorb the healing vibrations of this chant. It's very beautiful and very calming. So, yes?
Are we chanting out loud?
No, I forgot. I'd love to be able to chant out loud. We are listening to a chant recorded, and you will be chanting in your head or humming along a little bit, but yes, due to safety concerns, we are not expelling our breath. So, yes, please chant in your head. If you're at home, please chant your little hearts out, because you can do that. So, all right, thank you for that reminder. I really wish we could chant, but that's how it is. Okay, Thank you all very much. We will now do our incense and chanting.
Chanting.
奇妙無量寿如来南無不可思議光法蔵菩薩に寺財政自在応部所東県勝部浄土院国土人伝自然幕本流無常修正願長法慶右大偶勢高校士有志小樹十世名称文字法不法無量無変更無限無体公園の少女歓喜知恵子不断難し無償子超日が交渉人生一切群上無交渉本願用語少女語死心信行願人上等学章大涅槃非死滅道願成就如来勝意公主世唯世弥陀本願会五辱悪自群上会往生如来如実言の本一年喜愛心不願本の特涅槃本性逆法さえ入病死第一に聖主信法上昇後異の水波無明は本来心臓死運無上空心事心人天異尿に幸福運無運無しげ妙無wan逆心謙虚大狂気即応超税合悪臭異彩全幕本部人門親如来流税願運言広大小芸者税人名踏んだりけリーダー部本元年部邪天教魔楽修上信行十字人に南中死な昔インド最天地論下中華自治域史構想現代小構成小位妙如来本税王記釈迦如来両河線異種言用が天竺流樹大事修道生執の財派有無権先世大乗無常法召喚議事昭和なく賢治難行六六信行異行指導楽億年弥陀部本願次年即時入上唯の上昇如来語応報大悲偶税音
賢人菩薩増論世奇妙無下根如来永衆他ら献身寺高専王朝大聖願こういう本願力栄光移動群上小維心記入空読大崩壊筆脈入大永衆衆特使蓮華造世体即小信用法小心有本の人間人図入賞自音自用芸本自動乱両天使上皇乱書菩薩来三蔵ルシ十条教本書専業気楽法天神菩薩論中芸報道因果見世願大元栄光有他力少女死因有信心惑前本部新人法承知承知即涅槃必死無量光明道小宇宙上開復系同社継承論難書有名浄土活入万全自力変言集円満特語感染症三風三神慶音言増魔法明道義因異生増悪地偶税思安妖怪称名化全道独名無所異公愛上三両逆惑公明明語権二年開入本願大智慧幼者小樹金剛心狂気一年総合用意大と逆三人即所法所市上楽献身公開一大教返帰安養官二祭先祖終身反戦人法慶二道小弁流極十悪人唯勝部大悪罪非正集中煩悩証言追復権大義無権上昇が本次元空妙仏教連民全幕本部人新宗教書本編集戦弱本願具悪性現代生じ臨伝芸慶地義上位少子即入弱上無意楽一子信心に納入空教大義修士と上妻無縁極辱悪同族自修行心唯過信し高祖世
安にしくどくようどせいさいども大心お嬢はナマ
Today's reading is from the Anapanasati Sutra on the full awareness of breathing. I have heard one time the Buddha was staying in Savatthi at the Eastern Park with many of his accomplished students. The senior students in the Sangha were diligently instructing new students. This way, they made great progress. To engage their efforts, the Buddha announced he would remain in Savatthi for an additional month. The news spread, and students throughout the region traveled there to study with him. Teaching continued. New students were encouraged to practice even more ardently. With this help, the newer students made good progress in understanding. When the next full moon day arrived, the Buddha, seated under the open sky, looked over the assembly and again spoke. "O students, our community is pure and good at its heart. It is without useless and boastful talk, and therefore it deserves to receive offerings. It is a field of merit. Such a community is rare, and any pilgrim who seeks it, no matter how far they travel, will find it worthy." O students, the full awareness of breathing, if developed and practiced, will be rewarding and bring great advantage. It will lead to success in all Dharma practice, ultimately giving rise to understanding and liberation. What is the practice of full awareness of breathing? Go into the forest or to the foot of a tree or any quiet place. Sit calm, holding the body upright, and practice in this way. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, no, I am breathing out. Breathing in a long breath, I know I am breathing in a long breath. Breathing out a long breath, I know I am breathing out a long breath. Breathing in a short breath, I know I am breathing in a short breath. Breathing out a short breath, I know I am breathing out a short breath. Breathing in and breathing out, I am aware of my whole body. Breathing in and breathing out, I calm my whole body. Breathing in and breathing out, I feel joyful. Breathing in and breathing out, I feel happiness. Practices like this. Breathing in and breathing out, I am aware of my mental formations. Breathing in and breathing out, I calm my mental formations. Breathing in and breathing out, I am aware of my mind. Breathing in and breathing out, I make my mind happy. Practices like this. Breathing in and breathing out, I quiet my mind. Breathing in and breathing out, I liberate my mind. Breathing in and breathing out, I observe the impermanent nature of all things. Breathing in and breathing out, I observe the disappearance of desire. Breathing in and breathing out, I observe continuation, the non-birth, non-death nature of everything. Breathing in, observe letting go. Breathing out, observe letting go. Practices like this, the full awareness of breathing, if developed and practiced according to these instructions, will be rewarding and greatly beneficial. This is what the Buddha, the awakened one, said, and everyone in the assembly felt gratitude and delight at having heard his teachings. We will now have a few minutes of meditation accompanied by music. Please stay quiet where you are.
Except the children are going to Dharma school. I don't feel as though my microphone is on, but if it were, I would tell you. The children are going to Dharma school. Musician. Trying to do this without knocking my microphone off. Almost. Okay. I made it. The greatest challenge of the day has been achieved. I sat on the platform without falling off, so always happy about that. Well, good morning, friends. I missed you last time, 2 weeks ago, the service. Reverend Shelley was doing this job, and I was taking charge of the children's program. Kids are probably glad I'm back here, but okay. It was a little scary for them, so okay. We swap from time to time, just so everyone gets a chance. So, this is our Sangha gathering. It's not easy to be together. The pandemic has seen to that. But we persist. We make the effort. Some are here, some are at home, but we are all together in this precious moment. Wherever you are, we're happy you found us. And the 3 gems of Buddhism you found at the same time, which are the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Well, actually, the Sangha is us, so. Yeah. Your spiritual path has led you here today. And you're very welcome at Reno Buddhist Center. The Buddha taught some 2,600 years ago, and he recognized 4 important, or we say 4 noble truths, and an 8-fold path to kind of internalize those truths. This is our way to a wholesome, joyful life. It's a middle way with 8 parts. The parts are just right understanding, just right thought, speech, action, effort, livelihood, mindfulness, and quietude. I think that was 8. 8, yes, okay. Now we say just right as a translation of the Pali word sama. Not right and wrong, black and white. It's not that kind of thing. It's a much more subtle thing. It's like, what is it like? There are things where you have to be very skillful, you know. Whipping cream, especially if you have a big mixer. It's tricky, if you've ever done. How many people have whipped actual cream? Okay, a few people. Otherwise, if it's spraying it out of a can, none of this applies, so don't expect it to. But whipping cream is tricky, like life. If you don't put enough effort into the stirring, the cream just swirls around in the bowl. Doesn't do anything. And if you overdo it, which I have overdone before, basically put the mixer on high, really, you figure it'll whip it faster, right? No, it turns it into butter and this white stuff. I don't know what the white stuff is. And you can't put that on strawberry shortcake. Doesn't work. But if you mindfully whip with energy and keen observation, you can get it just right and create the delicious sweet topping that all strawberry shortcake deserves. At this point, I have forgotten about my Dharma talk and I'm thinking about strawberry shortcake. Okay, so that's what sama is. It's not right like right and wrong mindfulness. It's just right mindfulness. So let's examine just right mindfulness. The 7th of the 8 folds of the path that we are studying. It's a path laid down by the Buddha, as you know, and all Buddhas before. A path toward living in abiding joy. The point of Buddhism is changing our experience of life into a harmless, even-keeled, joyful experience. That's where all this Buddhism stuff, it leads. Do you remember the Buddha's advice to his 7-year-old son Rahula in the Ambalatika Sutra? That was several weeks ago, maybe even a month ago. I've lost track of which one's which, but we read the sutra. And the Buddha said to now the young monk, who was also his son, Rahula, what is a mirror for? For reflection, sir, he answered. In the same way, we make our actions of body, speech, and mind with careful reflection. He goes on to say, whenever you want to do something, reflect on it. Will this hurt me or others? Will it lead to painful consequences? Only by reflecting will you know a wholesome action with pleasant consequences and positive results. Reflection is grounded in mindfulness. If you've been watching carefully and really learning as you go, it becomes much more easy to make wise choices. But the first step is to just watch, not to change or react or mimic someone else. Just watch what is happening. Generate in the matrix of your mind the observer. My title today, we put it on the website, but the title's not really that useful for a Dharma talk, but I like to make one up sometimes. One mentor of mine had a whole system for making up catchy titles that would bring people into the temple. So I like to follow that. So my title today is, It's Okay, I Mind. So usually we say it the other way around, right? If we mind something, it means that it bothers us. When we apply mindfulness, we are reflective. We are able to understand and accept life with its ups and downs and smooth times. So, it's okay, I mind, is an aspiration. I want to be open to this very moment. Its preciousness is usually observed or obscured by the cloud of I, me, my that swirls around in our mind. When we develop mindful awareness of reality around us, through the observer, we can see through the cloud. Our awareness of reality is usually blotted out by this delusion of self and separateness. The scourge of identity making is what the Buddha called it. It divides us from each other and from a world that we are really part of. So we suffer that division. Mindfulness and just observing can bring us back into wholeness. That's why we say mindfulness is a wholesome action. It promotes our understanding of the whole. Mindfulness is an important quality for all of the folds of the Eightfold Path. All 8 aspects need mindfulness. This is true of each spoke of the Dharma wheel. Each one inter-supports the other. I don't know if you can see, where's a Dharma wheel? Ah, there, on the podium there's a Dharma wheel, and you can see the way a wheel works is that if this spoke is down and the whole wagon pushes down on it, the spoke above it actually gets pulled a little bit. So it's a very dynamic thing, a wheel. And the Eightfold Path is a very dynamic thing. So, for instance, right speech happens when we are mindful, seeing clearly words and their effects. Right understanding happens when mindfulness lets us observe the flow of cause and effect, karma, all through mindfulness. How do we cultivate mindfulness? In the Anapanasati, I don't know why, okay, let's start that one again. In the Anapanasati Sutra, the Buddha starts by having us be mindful of our body and its breath. It is the best example of the true nature of reality that we have with us. We have breath all the time. The breath is changeful and dynamic and follows this easily observable cycle, anapanasati. That's where the Buddha taught observation of the body. The breath, the feelings, or our emotions, and our objects of mind. Here's a quote. A student remains focused on the body in and of itself, ardent and aware, putting aside wanting and distress about the world. Remain focused on feelings in and of themselves, on the mind in and of itself, on mental formations in and of themselves, ardent and alert, putting aside wanting and distress about the world. This is called right mindfulness. Mindfulness is awareness of the body, the feelings and mental formations. Focus on our bodily sensations is important. It's sort of a free biofeedback without the expensive machine. Awareness of the body, in the body, is the first stage. We all have it, and we all can do it. Each morning, we can do a body scan with mindfulness, just kind of create that spotlight of focus and start at your toes and just work all the way through your body. It's almost like a mental CAT scan or whatever. Slice your way, feel, oh, my knees feel a little, my hip, that's interesting. My tummy feels empty. Those things come to us in the morning. So, curiosity and openness are important. Mindfulness does not have any preconceived ideas. No shoulds or supposed tos, none of that. Just the observer we talked about. Observing the body in the body. That's all that we practice. In the sutra, looking at the breath is the best place to start. Whenever we are stressed, returning to the breath is good. Watch the natural rise and fall. See the changeable nature of life itself in your breath. By observing our erratic breath, we find calming breath. Then we move on to our feelings. This is confusing sometimes. It's not sensations, it's our emotional feelings. The Buddha was talking about these emotions that we experience. We can watch their ebb and flow. We can see them trigger, they well up, and sometimes they explode. We can do this with observer mind. We can do this anytime emotions bubble up, if we have some practice. And by observing the storm of emotions, we naturally calm that storm. Then we move on to mental formations. Here the Buddha was talking about ideas, prejudgments, and all the weird little guesses we make about the environment around us in our imaginary mind. We can watch these ebb and flow too. We can see them flow from one formation into another, grossly distorting reality around us. They light off emotions and body sensations as well in that process, so we can be mindful of the interconnection of these. We do this with the observer mind, if we practice a bit. When we do this, we naturally moderate the distortion, and ultimately we can think clearly through mindfulness. The basic mindfulness of the anapanasati leads to more advanced mindfulness of the Buddha in all things. This is what we call the Nembutsu, Namu Amida Butsu. It was first taught by the Buddha later in his life. Queen Vadehi of Magadha was imprisoned, and she called the Buddha for help when I say called, she literally sat down in her prison cell and cried out to the Buddha, "Please help me." He heard her, and he came and gave her a practice of mindfulness of the Buddha Amida, this Buddha right here. Amida Buddha was a person like you long, long ago. And through eons of arduous practice, he manifested a Buddha field, a kshetra, of infinite light, wisdom, and infinite life, compassion. What we call a Pure Land. It's not really a place, but we still call it that. This field, let's call it an energy field, that Amida generated, is outside of finite time and space. So, it is always nearby. This is what Gautama Buddha told Vaidehi. It is nearby to you as well, just right here. If we deeply hear its presence through mindfulness, our very breath is part of all life, part of the vastness of Amida's infinite life. Mindfulness, cultivated by observing the breath, can be broadened and amplified to deeply hear the compassionate Buddha in all things. We are now in a difficult place. We endured a lockdown of sorts, no chains on the doors, but it felt very constrained. And we were sort of released from it, but not exactly. Still, the pandemic is not gone, really, in any way. The virus still circulates from person to person. While I say this, watch your breath. If its pace increases and its depth shortens, the emotion of fear is rising. Mindfulness of that emotion will help you objectively contain that fear by simply observing it. Then we can see the mind objects that form around that fear. First mind object that forms around my fear is sort of an idea of a crazy zombie apocalypse. So I can see that happen. Now, I know it's not real. They're just thoughts. You can observe them. And they're okay if you're mindful. Just the funny play of your wonderful creative mind. And so, we are in a difficult place. I will suggest to you to remedy that, take a walk and observe a garden or a meadow. I was on retreat last weekend and I slept in a meadow in the mountains, and I felt grounded there. But we have a garden here, the Moon Rabbit Garden. Our friend Becky is very kind and cares for it, so you could peek at it after you leave today. So observe a garden. As the flowers bloom, what do they fret of a pandemic? They live as they have always lived. Watch the bees wholeheartedly traveling from flower to flower. They are stable. Observe them. You are stable, grounded, and at peace. Let that mindfulness blossom into wonder at the vastness that you are part of. Feel the strength and solidity of that vastness. Feel gratitude well up as you sit in mindfulness, observing the garden. Joyfully aware and at peace, the difficulty is put in perspective. The Buddha Dharma is all about mindfulness, the seventh fold of the eightfold path. We have looked at some parts of that today. Sometimes Buddhism seems attractive, but not quite understandable. But then, other times, it clicks for us. Our Tibetan friends and also our Zen friends do this. When the Dharma clicks for you, they make this weird little clap like that. It's supposed to shock you, like, ah, yeah. It feels like someone has set upright something that's tipped over, or revealed something that was hidden, or pointed out the right road when we've gone astray. It gives us the gift of opening our eyes to this precious moment of mindfulness. To close, we are mindful of all the beings who struggle in this universe. We offer them words of love and encouragement, the metta prayer. Just repeat after me, wherever you are. May you be happy. May you be free from harm. May you receive boundless compassion. And may peace and harmony fill your heart. Namanda, 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 namanda. We usually finish up by sharing a song. We will listen to that, and please sing along in your mind. It's called Home in the Meadow, and Reverend Alicia picked it. It's a song about the Pure Land.
Away, away, come away with me, where the grass grows wild and the winds blow free. Away, away, come away with me, and I'll build you a home in the meadow. Come, come, there's a wondrous land for the hopeful heart and the willing hand. Come, come, there's a wondrous land where I'll build you a home in the meadow. The stars, oh how bright and far, on a world of pure and eternal art. The stars, oh how bright they'll shine on the home we will build in the meadow. Come, come, there's a wondrous land for the hopeful heart and the willing hand. Come, there's a wondrous land where I'll build you a home in the meadow.
I always thank Reverend Alicia there for choosing that song as our theme. We have finished our service. We have one announcement. The Buddhism 101 class, it will be virtual on Zoom, begins August 1st. It will be the 1st, the 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd, from 10 to 11:30 on Saturdays. So if you're interested, you can go on the website and click on the sign up, and then we'll have an idea of how many people are coming. There will be some handouts and things, so if you sign up before, then we'll email them to you. Or just come to the first class, that'll be fine. Yes. Okay. We also need to exit the temple in a mindful, orderly fashion. I would ask that the people in the back row rise up and walk out the door, and then the people in the next row, and then the people in the next row, and the next row, and that way we won't bodge up at the doorway and like that. So thank you very much.